Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica, and today I want to talk about how to improve your English in 3 steps. So without further ado, let's get started. The first thing I want you to know is that stop learning English. Start practicing English. Learning English means you have to sit there and listen to other people's talking. Sit there, listen to other people's doing their output of English to you, and you don't need to be react. You don't need to be in act of any of it. You don't have to be participate in any of the reaction, any of the practicing of English. You just have to sit there and listen, and that's input. No matter how much input you put there, without output, you still cannot speak English properly. You still cannot speak English fluently. So what you want to do is to do the input and output together, all by yourself. You listen and you speak. Just do the sharing. You listen to a bunch of stuff and you start copying them. You start saying things like them. You start admire that how people speak fluent English like that. You start imagine that you can speak English like them in the future. You stop doing all those input by listening to other people's talking, by listening to people try to speak English in a very high speed and make you feel so confused. You don't understand what they're saying, but actually you just don't want to talk like them. You want to talk like yourself. You want to learn how to talk. You want to learn how to express yourself, and that's a skill. Imagine how many things that we do in order to speak fluent English. We listen, we practice reading and writing, we commute with other people, we have conversation with other people, we listen to other people. And all those methods are useful. But the point is, you have to be part of it. You have to be the center of the conversation. You have to be participated into the conversation. Without you, nothing works. It's just like swimming. Like, no matter how many swimming materials you got for yourself, no matter how many courses you attend to learn how to swim, you still need to jump into the water. You still need to do swimming by yourself. You have to really jump into the water to feel the texture of water, to feel the temperature of the water. You have to know what sort of thing you need to do in water in practice. You have to gradually develop your own course by yourself. Listening to other people won't do that for you. So the first thing you need to do when it comes to learning English, you need to do it by yourself. You need to practice by yourself. Stop learning English. Practice it. Practice with other people. Practice with yourself. Practice with the mirror. Practice with everything you got. Practice with this imaginary friend that you got. Just remember, when you practice English, you might feel so desperate. You might feel so frustrated and disappointed. You might feel like your accent is not right, your pronunciation is not right, you make loads of mistakes. Well, that's the process of practicing. If we are so perfect, why we need practice? We just need to speak like native speaker does. We need to practice because we know we're not perfect. We need to practice because we know there's so many things we need to do to actually speak like a native speaker. That's what we want to do, and that's what we need to do. So practice English should be your top priority when it comes to learn English. And second thing, well, you might think, if I want to learn English, I would be so intimidated to speak. And the reason you are so intimidated to speak is because you are afraid of making mistakes. In your assumption, making mistake is the fundamental thing that will stop you to speak English. Well, actually, it's not. As a second language learner, making mistake is inevitable. We cannot live without mistakes. No matter what we say, no matter what we do, we always confront us with making mistakes. So have this attitude correct. If you want to be perfect, you better just write a script and you read it out loud as a voiceover for your own video making. You read it out loud, you try to record a voice. If you write a script, you might feel like your English is a little bit low level. You might think your English is not that perfect, but still, there is no single mistakes in that script. You just read it. And when you read it, you may feel like, wow, it's so perfect, it's so wonderful. I can actually read it out loud. I can actually read in English. But that's not your aim. Because read English, or let's give it a specific term, narrate it. Narrate your script in English. It's simple. It's easy to do. Because when you narrate it, you don't put that passion in it. You have to choose between passion and perfect. When you're passionate about things, you will make mistakes. When you're passionate about something, you will feel like you are so enthusiastic. you don't need to be perfect. When you are being perfect, you are not inactive. You are not in action. You are so anxious about this situation you are in that will make you feel like you are not perfect. You have to stay in some situation. You have to really maintain this still perfect structure of you to really allow you to be perfect. But when you are passionate about something, when you're passionate about learning English, making mistake is the most wonderful thing that can happen to you. Because when you're passionate about something, making mistakes is inevitable. Making mistake is part of being passionate. Making mistake is something that it's part of you. That make you feel like, if I'm not making mistakes, it means that I have no space to progress, have no space to develop, have no space to improve, to be another person, to have another level of English speaking in my whole life. So I'm not saying that you need to deliberately searching for what sort of mistakes you need to make. It's just when you are making mistakes, you have to let go of yourself. You have to let go of this concept that you are imperfect, you are horrible, you're frustrated, you're disappointed. You are not. You're just making a mistake. And making a mistake means that you need to try over and over again. You need to tell yourself, okay, I didn't really feel so perfect in this sort of role, in this sort of video making process. I need to do it next time. I need to see what sort of detail I need to change. I need to say what sort of things I need to apply, what sort of strategies I need to use to make my voice sound better. Not perfect, better. So choose passion. Choose between passion and perfect. So between passion and perfect, please choose passion. Please choose to be passionate about learning English, about practicing English. Being perfect is easy because you can just do whatever you want in terms of being perfect. You can just prepare, you can narrate it, you can write a script, you can control every step of practicing English. But being passionate, it means you need to synchronize your brain with your passion, synchronize your brain cells with your speaking. Everything has to be very fast. It has to happen in a very fast speed. That's the training. That's the proper training you need. Okay? And the third thing I want you to know is that, well, sometimes when we listen to other people's narrating, when we watch other people's videos, we feel like, oh my god, they are so good, they are so perfect. How can they ever do it? How can they ever accomplish this wonderful speed of speaking English? Let me tell you, when you doing mistakes, when you are making a video, everything is under control. You do the preparation, you do the narrating, you do the shooting, whatever you do, your aim is to make that video perfect. You speak as fast as you can. You try to make yourself dazzling. You do whatever you can to make that specific video perfect. And when you watching other people, and for example, me staring at myself, talking to you in front of camera, I can sense how many mistakes I've made already. I don't have that sort of control how many mistakes I made, but somehow I don't want to show it to you, but somehow I could edit it out. And that's why I want to make something totally, not perfect and let you see what sort of things I do to make myself feel perfect in speaking English. What sort of things I do to make myself feel comfortable to speaking English. What things I do to make myself feel comfortable speaking English. I don't need to be perfect. I don't need to be pretend to be perfect because I'm not focused on video making. I'm not focused on producing this production line of how to be a perfect character set. I want to be myself. I want to practice English. I want to be able to have a conversation with foreigners in the future. I want to be able to truly react in my own words in the future when the situation needed. I don't need to be pretend because it's so easy to pretend that you are perfect in front of camera. It's so easy to pretend that you are having this wonderful life in your own fantasy world, which is the camera you're using to make the video, which is the video you make. You don't have to do. For me, I don't have to do that. I just want to show myself. I just want to show that how authentic I am in terms of learning English. If I can do it, you can do it too. And please continue to learn English, and please continue to push yourself. Please continue to make yourself feel that you are in the progressing of making development, making this little milestones along the way. Okay?